Now we will begin stage 2 in the museum CSS layout. In stage 2, we are going to open up our design.html page that we created in stage 1, and it should look like this. And now we are going to add or save this file as a template file. And the advantage of that is you can apply a template to other pages on your website, and that might be an option you could explore, especially for your group professional site. And you could create a template together as a group and then share that template file with the group to make sure that your site is unified on every page. So the first thing is we want to make sure that we're in design view, because it won't work if you're in live view to save the template features. I'm going to select my text here in the navigation menu and link it to the appropriate pages in my site that have already been created here. So I'm just going to hold the shift key down to point About the Getty to my About HTML page, Traveling Exhibits, and then Permanent Exhibits. And now the text of my navigation menu are linked to the corresponding HTML pages in my root folder. In stage 1, I think that I forgot to float my footer, so I'm going to go ahead and do that here by selecting my footer, and I can go to CSS Designer and select the footer selector, and then go to my properties menu and scroll down to add the float property, and I want to float it to the left. So now that I've done that, I can select the placeholder text for the footer, and I'm just going to type in Site Design by Against the Clock. And then I can also use the properties menu and go to the text, and with my footer selector selected, I'm going to scroll up, uncheck Show Set, and define the color, and I'm just going to type in the FF color for white to make my footer text white. And then I can go back and delete the placeholder text in my main copy section and the sidebar section. And because I set that minimum height for these two sections, these boxes will not collapse. If you did not do that, then they would disappear once you delete the placeholder text. Go ahead and do File, Save All at this point to save both your CSS style sheet and your web page. And now we're going to save it as a template. So go back to File and then select Save as Template, and then select your root folder, your museum root folder as your site folder. In the description, I'm going to type in Museum Site Template, and I'm saving this as my design web page. It's going to ask me if I want to update the links, so I want to go ahead and say yes, and then we can take a look at the code in our code pane. So it's added this template code, and then it's linked here to our CSS style sheet. I'm going to change the document title that's in the title tags here to the Getty Foundation, and this is the text that's going to show up in the browser tab. And now I want to select the main copy section, and I can select it using the tag selector down on the left, and then go to your insert panel and select template. So before we were using the HTML insert panel, now switch to templates, and I want to make this an editable region. So this section, main copy with main copy ID selector, I want to click on editable region, and so I want to be able to edit this region on my template. So this is kind of like a master style sheet for those of you who may have used Adobe InDesign. So I'm going to make this an editable region in this master template. So I'm going to call this editable region page content. And remember, we created an ID selector called page content previously. And then click OK. Now you'll see this blue text page content show up. So anytime you see the blue tag and blue border, that means that's an editable region on your template that you can change the text and the content inside this section. That is not going to be visible on your actual web page. This is just an invisible feature to show you that this is an editable region. If you don't see that for a reason, you can go to View, Design View Options, and Visual Aids and make sure that Invisible Elements is selected. Go to your code pane now where you see that template begin editable name tag here. And what we want to do is we want to move the closing tag to move it after the sidebar because we want the sidebar container to also be within that editable region. So we're going to take the closing tag here and cut it and paste it after the sidebar section. And now you can see that blue border should be extended around the sidebar container as well. So now this entire section, including the left main copy section and the right sidebar section, are all within this editable region. So I can change the content inside these containers, or this one section now is in that editable region. So go ahead and save all again. Then go to your Files panel and double-click on your museum root folder. And then click on the Advanced Settings on the left and select the Templates category. Make sure that Don't Rewrite Relative Document Paths is checked. So this is important so that if you have that checked on, you shouldn't have any problems later on with relinking your files, and they will be updated. Go ahead and click Save. And then we're going to open the About page in your site folder. So this page has already been created. You can see in the code there's the section tags have already been added, and there's an image with these heading tags and subheadings. Now we're going to select the Tools menu, go to Templates, and then apply the template to the page. And you want to select the museum root folder, the design template, update the page when the template changes, click the design template and select. Now it's showing you that the editable region is the document body. And click on Not Resolved, and we want to select under Move Content to the new region, select the page content. So that's the name that we gave for the editable region on our design.html page. So we want to say that this page content is going to be assigned to the document body. Click OK, and now we can see the code. The code for the template has been added with the editable region and assigned to this particular web page. Go to the top of your code pane and look for the document title. After the Getty Foundation, we're going to type in the pipe, which is above the backslash on my keyboard, and then type in About the Getty. So this is the title for this particular web page. This is the About the Getty page. And then we can save the About page by just doing a regular save. Now we can use this same process to apply the template to our other two pages, the Traveling Exhibits page and the Permanent Exhibits page. So you can close the About page and open up the other two pages and do the same thing. So to save time, I have already done that. So with the Traveling Exhibits, I went to Tools, Templates, Apply Template to Page, selected the design template, and then selected that page content. And I've done the same thing on the Permanent Exhibits page. And so these two pages now should look like this. And now we're going to go ahead and move to stage 3 to complete our tutorial.